Brunch, the daily morning show where we talk about the latest topics in entertainment. I'm Brittany Jones-Cooper.
I'm Shannon Coffey.
I'm Allie Cooler.
And I'm Lucas Tim. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Today, we're going to talk about a blooming friendship between two music legends, the star-studded cast of Dune, and the Lonely Island's first ever live tour. Plus, Broadway actress Orfeh joins the table to discuss Pretty Woman the musical. But first, if you guys haven't seen the news, the internet is going nuts over the fact that Jussie Smollett was arrested and charged with disorderly conduct for basically falsifying the whole attack. We still don't know how this is gonna play out, but I think a lot of people are really angry, really emotional. It's really kind of a mixed bag. I know I looked at Tyler Perry's Instagram and he was just like, wow, you know, everybody I've heard from like said that this is impossible, but like the evidence is starting to pile up and it's just very confusing. So it's just sort of a weird moment. it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's really disappointing, if true, and confusing.
It's confusing.
And it's just hard to like weed through everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of people feel like, oh, I got duped and I feel so dumb for believing him, like they're expressing that, but I will say, like, I will never feel ashamed or regret believing people when they come out about assault or abuse. And I mean, responding with empathy is the best human trait.
Yeah.
So
There's nothing to be embarrassed about that you defended him if you believed a victim. That there's nothing to be embarrassed about.
Exactly, and I think going forward, people need to remind themselves of that, that people coming forward, you should approach them with respect, even though this happened. Again, this is an isolated incident.
Right.
Again, I think we're still gonna see a lot of things come out of this story going forward because it's just been so weird and complicated the whole time.
Absolutely.
So we'll be watching that as it goes forward. Moving on, while campaigning at an Iowa restaurant, politician Kirsten Gillibrand was interrupted by a diner on a very important mission. Take a look.
I don't think we should back away from the bold ideas that the base and the grassroots care about. Sorry, I'm just trying to get some ranch. Go ahead.
I love this so much.
This is so funny. So if you guys didn't hear, that's Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, who's the junior senator of New York and running for the Democratic primary to be president, and she's in Iowa right now. In Iowa right now, this is the time when they're going to these restaurants and trying to connect to the people, and you see her making this, I think, a speech about bold, big ideas, Medicare for all, whatever, and this woman, who she thinks is coming to, like, connect with her, just walks by and goes, oh, I'm just here for the ranch.
Yeah, like she literally gently like
trying to get some ranch.
Kirsten even like gently touched her hand like, yes, you're connecting to what I'm saying, and she's like, no, I just got some French fries.
She's like, you're blocking the ranch.
I have to say though, I'm from this neck of the woods. I'm from Nebraska, and like I keep ranch in my bag swag. Like it is.
No, you don't.
Oh, I have. It's like the only dressing that exists. Like
I have never understood the ranch thing.
Oh,
I don't like
I
ranch.
did not understand any other dressing until I moved to New York City. I swear
Really?
to God. Ranch is a way of life. So this woman charging through to get her ranch, I applaud her. Because she could have been using it on her pizza, on her French fries, on her salad. I mean, there's a lot of uses.
It seems like the way she... I hear you, and I feel
Brittany was just like listing things you could use ranch for, and she's like, there's a lot of uses for ranch.
I'm very passionate about ranch. Hidden Valley is the only ranch
I'm just
I
thinking
use.
about
If you
her
guys want to.
Wow,
No,
money, please.
He takes care of me, maybe he takes care of her.
Why you gotta bring
me ranch? I don't know really exactly who this woman was that was asking for the ranch, getting through for the ranch, but it seemed the way she cut through could be interpreted as rude.
Yeah.
You know, could she not wait for the ranch?
Right.
Maybe, but honestly, this is like a public event. This is a restaurant. There's people there who weren't there for the speech. So if I just walked in and there's some kind of like weird ass speech happening and someone's holding me back from like having the perfect meal that I'm paying for,
Thank you.
I don't care. I'm walking behind you, I'm walking next to you, I'm gonna get what I need. It won't be ranch, it's probably gonna be blue cheese.
And well, it does reveal also the issues that voters care about. I mean, you know, Kirsten Gillibrand has to be aware that if Kamala goes to a diner in Iowa, I'm assuming she'll have ranch just coming, like just around her. Just on the table next to her.
Now I'm thinking about it though, it's a bit of a power play, because you're telling me this is the only bottle of ranch in the entire restaurant. Like, couldn't the woman have raised her hand and been like, hi waiter, I'd love some ranch. It's not next to her.
Or wait.
I see that. I would imagine though that like in a situation like this, maybe like the diner's backed up. The waiters aren't coming around. There's a camera crew. This woman's food is down. It's hot.
Yeah.
It's hot and it's gonna get cold. And when it gets cold, she's not gonna want it. She's paying for it. She doesn't know who this is, and she's gotta get to that ranch.
She doesn't give a fuck. And
Nobody
there's a
cares
senator
about your
speaking.
meal more than you, to be honest. You know.
I agree. And when ranch is involved, it is like a very special condiment for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And not to bring up eggs on the show.
Watch out, egg girl.
but when you get something like eggs,
Yeah.
which are, I'm scared of you and also so turned on by you
I'm
right
like
now.
waiting for the
I'm
attack.
just like, I'm gonna be here to support you, and I know you're not gonna be there for me.
When you get eggs and they're hot, you need your ketchup then. Like you
Wait,
can't.
What?
She eats ketchup and eggs.
You eat ketchup and
You
eggs?
say it like it's a necessity.
Yeah, I need ketchup with eggs.
Really?
All eggs?
I used to not, but now I do.
What?
Yeah.
Like,
Huh.
God, I should.
Yeah, you know.
God, what if you and
I'm
eggs?
just gonna sit this one out and see how you fare.
That's
on
what
your
you like
own.
to. That's
You need Shannon to back you up.
so like a
She's
scrambled eggs, you put ketchup on it.
I do put ketchup on scrambled eggs.
like an eggs Benedict?
I've never had that.
You don't. There's other things to season. Oh, Allie,
God,
your
this
egg,
is-
your egg
I love
eating.
This conversation has really taken an odd turn.
But you know when you get something hot and it's ruined if you don't get your condiment. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
no,
you.
I agree.
So you're saying you
do
interrupt.
agree. I know you agree.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just letting you feel the world without Shannon for a sec.
It's cold, baby.
The cold, cold world.
It's a gift. Remember that.
Anyways,
I learn something new about you every day.
Yeah, that is. Well, speaking of a cringe, I mean, eggs and ketchup. I'm just. But like
lots
this.
of people have eggs and ketchup.
I know, but
Well,
like when they're
eggs
like
and hot
5.
sauce. I know.
What?
When
eggs
they're like
with
little
sriracha.
kids, I've seen
Really?
it. I don't
What
see-
about like eggs on a? I don't want to do this anymore.
Maybe whatever.
Like a bacon,
Well,
egg,
okay,
and cheese
well,
with
back-
ketchup on it?
I don't want to talk about
Back
it
to
anymore.
Jill. Back
I'm
to.
actually not talking about
Back to Gillibrand, though, I think what's so these viral videos of these politicians, they're so cringeworthy. I think it's because these powerful people are putting themselves out there to kind of like connect with voters, but then they're just like she was just like completely like just like kneecapped by this woman just going, I'm just here for the ranch.
Right.
Like and we've seen this before with Hillary and eating pies. She won't eat pies in front of people because.
Remember Romney had the hot dog?
Romney had the hot. Oh, because Hillary even said it because they're always looking for that one picture of Hillary just shoving her face to the pie, and everyone's like, look at how gross she looks. So she never would eat in public. But I think it's like these politicians trying to be personable or fun around food and in restaurant settings getting completely embarrassed.
See, and my thing is she didn't roll with it because I
Right.
feel like if it was maybe a more witty politician, like she would
Comma.
reach for the ranch and she'd be like, girl, me too, leave some for me. Or like something that's playful and relatable.
Yeah.
But she was so on her talking points that she
Right.
was just really like, ha ha ha, back to the economy. And it
Well-
was like, you could have played in that moment.
Yeah.
I know
It
she
would've
could
been
have, but
hype.
I think we're looking for the wrong things in politicians.
Right.
Like we're like, oh, we want you to be like so charming and like do a ranch bit.
Yeah.
No, like maybe she has like something she should focus on.
I think-
that she's happy to focus on.
I know we're
love
like,
some
do they
ranch
make a good meme? And
Yeah.
this is like, I feel like the pressure,
Right.
they're retweeting this, her whole campaign is like, look at this, we're viral. And I'm like, I don't need you to be like, I can do the wave,
Right.
like chill, just be good at
Just
politics.
learn how to give everyone health care. And that's too, like we've learned we don't need the cool person who's good at jokes. We
Yeah,
need someone who actually knows
yeah.
policy and stuff.
I mean,
But-
I don't mind a few ranch jokes.
Yeah, no, but I think there
It
is.
endears me to the candidate. It makes me want to listen.
She's got my vote.
It makes me want to show up at the restaurant. I'm just being honest.
you're
That's
one-
what politicians-
Weird.
A one-issue voter, and it's ranch.
I'm not. Yeah.
Hey, I hear ranch is running for president now.
I hear Trump wants
whoa.
to take away ranch, guys.
Oh, honestly,
Think about that when you go into the polls.
2020. Tell that to Senator Kamala Harris. She'll use that as her slogan, maybe.
ranch.
Ranch.
Ranch 2020. When looking for a fun night out, celeb friends Drake and Adele rented out a bowling alley just to themselves. According to TMZ, the music icons chowed down at a famous LA deli together before heading over to Pin's Bowling Alley. That sounds like a random as fuck night.
That's
Re-
pins
Yeah.
with a Z, by the way.
Really
Pins
random.
busy. Yeah.
I'm just glad this headline didn't say that he shut down a place to hang out with Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
Did anyone else get scared when they started that headline? You're like, no! And then you're
Me
like, oh,
too.
Adele.
I'm just glad Adele left her kid at home.
Yeah.
Kiki, you're a preteen.
Yeah, there's some rumors on the internet, if you're not familiar with Drake hanging out with little children.
Allegedly.
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 This is a allegedly can't sue us. This is a weird pairing, Adele and Drake.
Yeah.
I know they've been on communicating via social media for a little bit now, and she went to see him live, and he responded being so
Yeah.
enthusiastic about her support. But yeah, what an interesting pair. What did they talk
I don't
about?
think it's interesting. She's really into rap music.
Oh,
And
okay.
has like been really vocal about that. She's constantly like tweeting things in support for other artists.
Right.
She's very much a fan of a lot of people. And so I think that's what happened. She went to his concert whenever that was, and she tweeted like this was like one of the best
Right.
concerts
Oh, I
of
remember
all
that.
time.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of started that kind of relationship. Because you have to think like she can't just meet friends on Bumble BFF. Like,
True.
they have to be people who are kind of at her level.
Though that would be a fun account to come across.
I would
Yeah.
love to
Name's
hang out.
Adele. I like to sing, write songs, like some wine, looking for a friend. Adele.
Right.
Sounds fun.
Hello.
Sounds fun.
Drake is very much like a chameleon. I feel like he's like, oh, who wants to be friends with me? Oh yeah, I like you, Adele. I like you, 13-year-old. Like anybody.
Madonna.
He'll say yes to anyone. He'll be
Yeah,
like,
he's
yeah,
had like
yeah.
little tidbits with like these girl superstar singers, like whether romantic or
Yeah,
not.
J-Lo.
J-Lo, Madonna, Adele, like it's
And I
that's
remember
a thing.
he posted a while ago about how he really wanted to be friends with Sarah Silverman. He posted her SNL headshot. I think he's just someone who he like admires other people's talent, and regardless of like what he maybe anticipates their personality is, just like wants to hang out with them and connect because he thinks they're cool.
Yeah, remember when he was like, I'm in love with Aubrey Plaza.
Right.
We have the same name. We gotta make out. And she was like,
Nah.
red at 8:59 p.m. She didn't respond.
Really?
She like never
I
responded.
love Aubrey Plaza.
I do. I
She's
do.
like,
It's also
not interested.
funny, like thinking about like bowling, like mini golf, like what other tasks they can do together. Like Adele and Drake going laser tag. Like
Right.
who would win that? My money's on Adele, but you know I don't know.
I don't know. Aubrey seems a little scrappy.
Oh, you mean Aubrey Plaza?
No, him.
Oh,
Drake.
Jake.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
right.
call him Aubrey.
Right.
She's
Do you think he can even play laser tag? I feel like
don't
he'd
know.
be like, oh no, a gun.
I
Right.
don't see them playing laser tag.
Yeah.
I don't see these. This is fake. I think
Actually, yeah, fake news.
this
Fake
is fake
news?
news.
We decided. We broke the
Cool.
case.
Well, guys, another day, another celebrity has joined the cast of Dune. The star-studded film adaptation of the best-selling novel is set to be released in November of 2020, featuring Aquaman's Jason Momoa, The Greatest Showman stars Zendaya, and Call Me By Your Name, Timothée Chalamet. I dropped a word there.
Yeah, that's okay. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Happens.
Dune. Have you guys heard of this film?
No.
Dude.
Yeah. So
I mean, the
Dune
book I've
is,
heard.
Dune is a book, and it was a movie made in 1984. Sting was in it. David Lynch directed it. It bombed. It was so bad, David Lynch wanted to use a pseudonym on the credits. He didn't want to be associated with it.
Oh my god.
Is
Because
it the thing with the big worm?
Wasn't
yes, the big sandworms. You've
Yeah.
probably
Wait,
seen-
wasn't his pseudonym Big Fluffy Baby?
No, it's a real name.
Sorry.
I missed something.
I just
No,
thought,
it was just a...
I just thought it'd be funny if David Lynch was like directed by Big Fluffy Baby.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the one with the big sand mountain. It takes place in this like 10,000 years from now on the sci-fi desert planet with nobles fighting over a spice.
Yeah.
A spice.
A spice.
Ooh,
Well,
they're
that's
like,
crazy
we
that-
need the salt and pepper.
Yeah,
That
definitely.
used to be what people would fight over, though.
Right, yeah.
If you think
Yeah.
about it, there was that war in Tripoli over cinnamon
Right.
in like the early 1800s.
Ooh, good
You, Alex
history.
Trebek.
Yeah, like people
Damn.
care about that stuff because like you wanted good food, and also sometimes you could only like dye your clothes like with you needed that indigo powder to dye.
Right.
Yeah.
So everyone wanted blue clothes. You're lucky we could have wars about what we have wars about now.
Right.
Yeah.
Human rights abuses and stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Back then it was like stupid stuff.
Yeah, that was stupid.
Yeah.
Now it's real shit.
Yeah.
I'm dying at your extensive knowledge
Yeah.
about Tripoli and the history of cinnamon.
Yeah, it's a long. You know why? You want to know
Yeah,
why?
I do want to know why.
Yeah.
Because when I missed like a couple weeks of school once, and when I was a freshman in high school, and my friend would take the history notes and bring them to me, and she helped me like remember it, remember the war in Tripoli because of cinnamon. And then like we used to go on chat rooms and like ask people like, hey, do you know about the cinnamon war? And I just have this like weird memory imprinted on me, and
That
I'm
was
just happy to share it with you.
Well,
guys
thank you for
today.
Thank you
sharing
for
your
sharing.
knowledge. That was really special. Alex.
Yeah, no
I
problem.
learned something today.
I
That was
did.
good.
Crazy. Like now when you think about the ranch story, it's like, oh, of course she was
Of
pushing
course.
her way through that speech.
Yeah.
Right.
She could have started a war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would be a soldier in that war.
You would be.
You would.
The war for ranch.
The war
would.
for it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, everyone and their mothers joining this movie. Javier Bardem's in it as well.
I love Javier Bardem.
He's a great actor. It's kind of interesting. Well, I mean, I guess because the original movie bombed, they're having all these movie stars in it. I prefer when big, like, named projects don't have movie stars in them. I don't think you need them. Like Lord of the Rings, I think there were famous actors, but none of them were movie stars,
Yeah.
and the movie didn't need it. So, because it like, takes away a little bit. But I mean, Timothée Chalamet as in some sort of sci-fi alien, cool. I'm sure he'll be able to do it. We'll see. But yeah, mixed feelings.
Yeah, I do think we're in a different era where people will go to the theater just to see a name.
Right.
You know, even if the movie's not good, they're like, oh, this cast is stacked. But I love on social media, all of the like viewers are tweeting like, oh, I've been asked to be a part of this cast, or like Bernie Sanders is going to be a part of this cast.
Hey, if anyone doesn't win the Democratic nomination,
Bernie.
Kirsten Gillibrand, just join the cast in Dune. I mean, I'm sure they'll have you.
It's definitely overkill.
Did you guys see the little girl, the Girl Scout who was selling cookies, and she changed, she put a photo of Jason Momoa over a box of Samoas, and they like sold out immediately because people are horny for Girl Scout cookies and this man.
Yeah.
Those are the best cookies.
They are.
Yeah.
I would love to see him eating some Samoas.
What a brilliant entrepreneur. Like, I think she's like called like the cookie CEO of Colorado or something. Like, she's like the top selling Girl Scout cookie in Colorado.
That's a lot of pressure for
a
one
lot of
Girl
pressure,
Scout.
but you know what? You live up to that name if you're her, and she did it. Congratulations.
What a competition.
I wish
Go
we
get
had
a ton of
What a
money.
star.
I wish we had her troop number to call her out.
I know.
You know?
Well, anyway, I think you could look her up. Like, she's the Colorado Cookie CEO. I think that's like her nickname or whatever.
That's so cute.
And she's previously sold the most cookies, but with this, I'm sure is like
Sex sells.
Yeah,
Sex
really
sells.
does.
I've been telling
She's
the
in
Girl
elementary
Scouts that
school.
for years.
You know who bought all of her cookies? Drake.
Drake is gonna call us crying. He's like, why are you doing this?
We're
to
being
me?
really mean to Drake.
Drake,
Well, anyway, The Lonely Island has officially announced their first ever live tour starting this June. The trio will travel the U.S. for 2 weeks, performing all the songs you love to laugh at. Take a look.
Get ready, because the fucking Lonely Island is fucking going on tour. Look at these guys' faces. Now imagine them performing live. Here's one guy, here's another guy, and here's the third one. Here's a shot of this one without his glasses on. This one's also taken off his specs. And here's that third guy. Uh-oh, looks like now they're very cool. You've been waiting 10 whole years for them to tour, and now they finally will for 2 whole weeks, performing their hit songs like this one.
If you wanna hang out, you got to take her out. Cocaine.
And this one. And don't forget about
After midnight, we're gonna
Yeah!
Somebody.
Well, way to seize on the Lonely Island hype 10 years later.
but we're still ready.
We're still ready. Actually,
So
I still
ready.
watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I'm a fan of Andy Samberg. I think Brooklyn Nine-Nine is a very good network broadcast comedy. It's been on for a while now. So cool. They brought something very new to SNL. They definitely changed the SNL landscape, added those digital shorts, and their Lonely Island segments were always very funny.
It's a diverse group.
Diverse group of white guys.
All their glasses are so different.
Shoes are so white.
With the different shirts and the different, that one he's a little whiter.
Yeah.
And he's a little
he's
yellower.
You know what Lonely Island has done recently? They executive produced Pen 15 on Hulu.
Did they really?
Woo! Yeah, they
that's
did.
awesome.
That's something we could talk about that we're hyped about.
Yeah,
So
that's
I'm on episode 2.
Yeah, how do you like it?
I like it. I was telling Brittany though this morning that it feels a little slow at start. Like the reason I'm buying into it is for a lot of nostalgia, not necessarily for plot. Like, did you feel that way?
I just think the 2 leads are so good. Like the character Maya is like that. I never have felt more seen by a show. I'm like, yes. Making out with posters and masturbating and feeling really, really guilty about it.
Yeah. Wait, so for those of you who don't know, in Pen 15, these like 30-year-old women are playing themselves in 7th grade in the year 2000, and everyone else in the cast is actually like a 7th
13
grader.
or 14.
So, and the women look really young, so like—
It's believable.
You don't necessarily, you're not always like focusing on how they're older.
Yeah.
No,
but it's fun.
And I just love like even the music at the time and the way they dress is like very much how I dress and stuff. So I think I just feel like somebody has appropriately captured that time in my life.
Yeah, and it's not just about the costuming. It is like there's this one episode that I'm obsessed with where these teen girls find a thong that belongs to one of the other girls in their grade, and the way they like depict being like for the first time, like feeling like a sexual woman with like just wearing a stupid ass pink thong is so true to how when you're like young and you're going through that, you're like, I can be sexy, and you're like, no, you're a fetus, put it away.
Well, the first time the girl shows up with like a whale tail, I remember being like, oh my God, so-and-so's wearing a thong.
Oh my
and it being like, should I get a thong? And
Yeah,
like,
that was
is
a
it
conversation. Were you wondering when you should get a thong?
I was, yeah. I remember growing up, seeing some friends get thongs and coming home and be like, Mom,
It's time for me to
time to
I
get
think
that
it's
thong.
fun.
Yeah, but that actually was a thing though in school when girls started like when you would notice their underwear would change and you'd be like, whoa.
Oh yeah, I mean I was such a late bloomer. I had
Hey.
to take my cue from other people. I'd be like,
Right.
oh, I guess I should get one of those.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I had no idea that they were very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I didn't get it.
One thing the show did remind me of, which I saw in one of the first few episodes, was when they were writing the notes in class, like notes to ask people out. And you would always ask on the notes, like, circle yes or no, like as if that wasn't an intuitive response.
Right.
Like, do you want to date me? Like, you need to check one off.
Well, it happened the fact you could date someone without ever talking to them.
Yeah.
It would
I
all
know.
be through
Yeah.
writing
Right.
letters or I am. It would be like, we're dating, I like you too, cool. Like,
Yeah.
you're right, I have a
And like,
girlfriend.
that's your boyfriend, but you'll never say hi to him in the hall.
Never, never. I watch couples literally would just like walk by each other and just look, I'm like, wow, that was hot. Everyone's like,
Yeah.
you see they're dating? Oh my God. I actually got so mean I would make fun of those couples. I was kind of a bitch in middle school.
You would make fun of them, Fat Lucas?
Well, I was lonely and chubby, so yeah,
Yes, of course.
I
They
used
were like
humor.
that fat kid who wants to be the Pope.
That loser is making fun of
Keep
us.
hula hooping in the
Who
gym.
has those
like-
braces? I'm like, yeah, what up?
So okay, Lonely Island is obviously doing some really cool stuff. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
They're also working
Yeah.
on a Fire Festival documentary with Seth Rogen, which,
Yeah.
I think they were working on before Fire
Yes.
Festival happened, because in the moment I remember Seth Rogen tweeting like, "Oh my God, they stole our idea. Should we like sue them?"
Right.
So like their instincts seem to be really on with the projects they're
Right.
choosing.
Wait, but they're not still making that,
No.
they
So
are.
Seth, no,
No, aren't
it's
we
not
done with
it's not about Fire Festival.
Oh.
Seth Rogen tweeted
like a
when that's
humorous-
the Sandwich Gate came out, the picture of the
like a
Sandwich Gate,
mockumentary.
that
Yeah,
we were making a fake
my bad.
mockumentary about a music festival gone wrong. Now Fire Festival happened, they were like, well, we should sue them because they stole our idea as a joke.
Right.
I wonder, hey, if they want to make fun of a Ja Rule type rapper who does this, or the fucking guy who peed on those tents and mattress, he is
Oh
a
my
villain.
God.
I will find you and I will hunt you down. That guy is the villain of that
You
movie.
will with those arms.
She objectified me today, this morning, guys, and like it was so. She was like, I was walking. She was like, wow. And I'm like, what? And she's like, wow.
Yeah,
I was like,
Yeah, and then you were like, your body looks good. And I was like, HR is coming
Yeah.
for us.
But like real talk, you look good.
Yeah.
Wait, back to
Why do
the-
you wear shirts?
Back to this conversation. Ja Rule actually announced recently that he might consider creating Fire Festival for 2020.
Yeah.
No, he's like
Stop.
definitely doing it.
He's like,
No
definitely
way.
gonna do it.
Yeah. He's like, we're gonna do Fire Festival 2.0.
stop
Because
it.
he's a
Yeah.
monster.
He? What? Who? I can't.
How?
Unbelievable.
Where?
This person.
I know,
can't.
but like the
What
thing
is
is,
going
people
on in
are
this-
gonna buy tickets.
100%.
But he's smart. I mean, people, now he has a name, it's name recognition. He'll just do it like in the
People
US.
are gonna be curious.
He'll just do it in Florida. It'll be
Yeah, it's
easier.
gonna be right next to like.
Be in Boca.
It's gonna be in Tampa. It's gonna be landlocked Florida, probably in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
Like who knows where it's gonna be? That's the best part of Fire Festival. It was a mile away from Sandals Resort. I mean, there were old couples on retirement vacation just drinking their margaritas while people were living in
know.
tents.
But
killing
probably
each
doesn't
other.
care. He'll get paid.
Yeah.
Watch, it's gonna work.
Ja Rule's gonna.
I believe it.
people
Wall
are
going.
sheep.
Maybe Lonely Island will perform.
And now it's time for today's guest. Orfeh is a Tony-nominated actress who has starred in many musicals throughout her Broadway career. She's currently playing the role of Kit in Pretty Woman the Musical. Everyone, please give a warm BUILD Brunch welcome to Orfeh.
Hi, how are you?
Oh my God, I love that.
Oh, thank you,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes.
Hi.
Welcome to the table.
Hey.
Yeah, welcome.
Welcome to brunch.
Oh my God, I'm so nervous.
Yeah, you must be freaking out, right? Because this is so much bigger than Broadway.
I know.
Doing 8 shows a week on Broadway.
It's a big deal.
Yes, no, it's good. I'm happy you had me, so here I am.
Yeah, thank you so much
happy
for
to
being
have you.
here. We're
Thank
so
you for
excited. And you play Kit in Pretty Woman the Musical.
I
So
do.
tell us, how has the experience been so far?
Well, I'm having a blast. I'm trying to think if I should sit
Yeah, do
back
you want a
or
pillow?
sit forward.
Now
or
we gave
sit-
you 3
Oh, this is hot. Okay, there you
There
go.
you go.
I broke the table. She's fired. I'm having a great time. You know, this is my 5th movie to musical transfer. So I'm kind of getting good at this point, 18 years later. And I'm having a great time. It's a really wonderful cast. It's a great, source material. My husband's in the show. We're having a blast. And it's packed every night. It's standing room. So I'm like, in a hit show, it doesn't suck.
Feels good.
Yeah, I would say that doesn't suck for sure.
Not at all.
So in this character, Kit, what are some of her favorite traits that you like to embody and play?
I think that the thing I love about Kit, besides the fact that she's off her, she's just zany, bouncing off the walls all the time, I think the fact that she's so interested in helping her best friend, even if it means that she's going to lose her, I think that's a really good quality in any person. It's like you should always want to wish the best for your people. And even if that is to your own detriment, that you're not going to get to spend time with them or they're going to move out, their roommates, I think that's what I love about Kit. And that she kind of tells it like it is and she's no nonsense. Nothing I would relate to at all. But yeah, that's what I love about Kit. I mean, there's a lot to love about her. Her wardrobe's pretty sassy. Her hairstyle's really cool. There's not much not to enjoy. So.
Love it. Yeah. And Julia Roberts recently came to the show.
She
How
sure
was
did.
that? Were you freaking out?
The only person that wasn't allowed to know was Samantha Barks. Everybody else knew that Julia Roberts was in the audience. So once we figured out where she was, and she was wearing this bright orange shirt, we literally, I think, played the whole show to Julia Roberts. Like, Julia, love me, please. You're my best friend. So we all decided she was going to be our best friend. And then she came backstage, and you figure this is like one of the biggest movie stars in Hollywood. Yeah. She'll be like, oh, hey, that was great. Thanks, bye. She spent so much time with us. She individually went to each and every one of us and had something to say that made it very clear she had been really paying attention. Like, oh, and when you did this, and oh, and when you did this, and you're like, oh my God, I love her even more now.
That's so sweet.
And she's every bit the quintessential movie star. She flashes that smile, and you're like, that's it, it's over. So she really, it's always, I always say this to people, the bigger the star, the nicer they are.
Right.
They really, I've met a lot of big stars and they're so humble and kind and gracious, and she was extra.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so
What a
awesome.
stamp of approval, too.
Yeah.
I mean, major though, and she loved the show.
Yeah.
She loved it. She's like, oh my God. She said to me, she goes, I feel like I have to call Laura, the original kid.
Yeah.
She's like, I miss her now. And I thought that was like the biggest compliment.
Yeah.
So, thank you, bestie, Julia Roberts.
That is
She's
so
my
cool.
bestie.
And you've had such a successful career. Did you always know you wanted to act on Broadway?
No, that was a fluke.
Wow. So
Absolutely the last concept on my list.
So
I
how
love
did-
that. You usually hear like I've been
Since I was
tap dancing and high kicking, want me on Broadway forever.
No. I was a pop star as a teen.
Yes.
Teen being theoretical. But I got a record deal straight out of high school. I only ever wanted to be in the music business. I only ever wanted to be a pop star, a rock star, or whatever, perform for tens and hundreds of thousands of people and go around the country and the world and have my songs on the radio. And it happened for 13 seconds. So I had a great time. It was wonderful, but we were very, very young and we didn't know better. And the music business is pretty rough.
Yeah.
And neither one of us, I had a partner in the group. There was two of us. It was called Or and More. It is not a lost hit. A hit cannot be lost. Because we're on a CD called Lost Hit of the 90s. And I'm like, if it was a hit, it can't be lost. But okay, a cool marketing campaign, whatever. So, we had a top 40 single. We toured the entire globe from like, you name it, to Malaysia and back. And we had a great time, but everything that could go wrong did go wrong. But I had a troupe of dancers, as you do in the 90s. It was very kind of Rhythm Nation light, and two of my dancers became choreographers on Broadway. So one of my dancers called me one day. He's like, hey, come audition for Footloose. I was like, the movie we saw, are they doing a remake of the movie 5 years later? What are you talking about? 7 years later? He's like, no, I'm choreographing the musical. I was like, okay. And he said, and I've told this story, but it's kind of funny every time I say it because it's so ridiculous. He said, bring your book. And I thought he meant to bring a book to read in the waiting room. He meant to bring a book to sing songs from. And I'm like, okay. And that's honestly, to make a very long story short, I know our time is limited, but That's how I wound up on Broadway.
Wow.
Because one of my dancers from my group, Orrin Moore, his first gig after Orrin Moore, and he had danced for CNC Music Factory, Snap, every big 90s, mega pop group. He became a choreographer.
Wow. So what did you end up singing if you had Hitchhiker's Guide?
I sang, and I always sang, and for years I sang Mariah Carey in my auditions.
Oh.
Especially If It's Over, which is something you only ever hear on Unplugged.
Right.
So I had my Unplugged songbook.
Okay.
And I was like, put it in front of the pianist, and he was like, you didn't print these out in separate pages? I was like, no, you're gonna have to actually turn the page.
Yeah, sorry.
So I was like, yeah. So that's how I got into the Broadway world.
That's a cool story. And so, Footloose, Legally Blonde as well, and of course, Pretty Woman. I mean, you have worked on a lot of plays that have been film adaptations.
Yeah.
What is that like? Is there pressure to reinvent the character, to please the audience?
I think you have to please the audience because the shows we've done in particular, Andy and myself, they're such big movies. These aren't little movies you might catch on late night TV and go, oh, I've never seen this movie. These are some of the biggest hit blockbuster movies of the last 3 or so decades. So there is a pressure to be true to the character because that's what people loved about the movie, were the characters in the movie. So you can't, it's like I always say this about Andy and Rocky, you can't do Rocky and not talk like this. You can't suddenly show up and be like, I'm gonna play Rocky as a Southern guy. You know what I mean? So you have to be true to the character, but at the same time, there has to be a reason people are gonna pay that money to come and see the musical. Right. So you have to put your stamp on it. And I think that I've gotten really good at being able to negotiate both worlds, which is probably why they keep hiring me. Because they go, well, she's gonna give enough of what, people like Julia Roberts saying, I miss Laura. So I obviously gave enough of that. Right. And then you come and get like the Orfeh stamp,
And you mentioned that your husband, Andy Karl, is also in the...
Olivier Award-winning Andy Karl.
Yes. And you guys have worked together before. So is this something that you guys try to make happen, or did it just happen on accident?
We do try to make it happen. It doesn't often happen. And there was a really long stretch of time that it didn't happen. So we put together a concert series. We do other things. So we always want to work together because, as I said, the last time I was lucky enough to be here, if we don't work together, we don't see each other. Right. We really don't. Yeah. It's completely...
Some people love that in America.
We really like each other. It's kind of crazy. And because of all the time we've spent apart, we miss each other. Yeah. Right. So I know it sounds small to me. I'm sorry, but it's true.
But do you have to find moments to not talk shop and just sort of separate it, or is that just part of the dynamic?
No, I mean, it's part of the dynamic, but when we go home, there's so much other stuff to talk about, and we have 3 dogs, and it's always messy, and there's a lot of poop around.
We love dogs here.
Yeah, it sounds like fun.
Yeah, there's just a lot to do,
Well, we mentioned Legally Blonde, and you, of course, played the iconic character Paulette, which you were nominated for a Tony for, which is incredible. Well, what an achievement for that.
Thank you.
What was it like being nominated for playing such a role that is so iconic for millions of people around the world?
Yeah. You know what's weird? When it was all happening, it wasn't the phenomenon it is now.
Right.
So for it to be this crazy zeitgeist phenomenon, and any time I walk out of the stage door, oh my God, Paulette changed my life. I'm in musical theater because of Legally Blonde. You go, what happened? Right. Because it wasn't happening at the time. Mm-hmm. So the fact that all these years later, my being well known for something you did a long time ago is a blessing. It's just such a big gift. But I remember getting the Tony nomination, and I remember they were reading the list, and I knew where my name would come alphabetically, and I was petrified. So I hid under my bed, and when they said it, I hit my head so hard that I almost had to get stitches.
Oh, no.
Literally, true story. But I was so nervous. And now Andy's old hat, he's got 3 nominations, but at the time it was like the first nomination in the Karl household. Right. I swear I thought I was gonna pass out.
Wow.
And I almost did because I was concussed.
Well, speaking of banging heads, but in the movie, there was famous bend and snap scene, which is again you revolutionized as Paulette on Broadway. What was it like doing the bend and snap? And also, your husband Andy played Kyle, the UPS guy.
He sure did.
What was that like?
It was awesome. We had the best time. We had dogs. Yeah. We had the 2 two of us got to be together as a couple.
look at that
It
photo.
was, I mean, that's just insane.
It's so
That was
cute.
really, like, really it. Every time he walked in, I was like, oh, yeah, he's hot. Hey.
Yeah, did you get to keep those costumes?
I got to keep the boots.
That works.
He did not get to keep that costume. You're not allowed to do that
Hey,
with
UPS, send the costume.
Yeah.
I think we can get one on Amazon.
Yeah, right?
You need it back.
One of my pups has a UPS costume, so there you go.
There you go. Yeah. So cute.
Well, it's so great getting to talk to you. I
Thank
love
you.
it.
This is so much
Yeah, it's
fun.
so much fun.
Thank you. Thank you for asking me.
Thank you for
Thanks
coming
for
on.
being here. And everyone, make sure to head to New York City's Nederlander Theater to see Orfeh and Pretty Woman the musical.
Woo!
That's all from us. We'll see you all
Snap!
tomorrow.
And